My name is Frank Kanawha Lake. I work for the U.S. Forest Service Pacific Southwest Research Station, and I'm a research ecologist. I have a mixed background. My father is Caucasian and Native American, and on my father's side I'm Karuk, Seneca, and Cherokee, and on my mother's side of the family I'm Mexican American. But I was primarily raised with the cultural influences of the tribes in Northwest California. My primary work responsibilities are to publish scientific findings. I'm in the Fuels and Fire program. I try to incorporate in tribal and community forestry important issues into my research. I'm involved a lot with paleoclimate and fire histories, particularly as it ties to indigenous land management systems and tribal uses of fire. And then that takes me also to more contemporary issues regarding how do we incorporate tribal values into contemporary fuels, fire, and forestry management issues. When I have the academic training that I do, and I'm able to articulate the science and the relevance of science, I can help also inform and educate the community, but then since I live part of that community, I can also articulate what their needs are to scientists. As a child, I saw the importance of salmon and watershed health to my family and my community. When I went to school as an undergraduate at UC Davis, I primarily focused on fisheries and aquatic sciences. Upon graduating in Davis, I worked for the U.S. Forest Service as a habitat fish biologist. Then I got involved in large fires. At that time, the foresters and fire people were looking at the ridge in the forest talking about fires, and hydrologists and fisheries people were looking at the creeks talking about salmon and water, but there wasn't connection between ecosystem management. And I thought, well, if I'm going to restore fish, I need to understand fire. And to understand fire, I need to understand historical fire regimes, which included both anthropogenic and lightning, as a disturbance process. And so that led me to coming to OSU to study more in the environmental science program and forestry. One of the things that I think challenged me as being a Native American student primarily, being here at college in my traditional home territory down in Northern California, is I would leave a lot. My research focus was back in my tribal community. I'd go back in the summers for my research, for ceremonies, for subsistence activities. So I perhaps didn't have a close enough relationship perhaps as other students had who stayed here all the time. But that still also strengthened my relationship to home and made my research relevant because I was doing something as a researchable question that was important to the basket weavers and tribal community that I was being with. When I was here at Oregon State University, I did get lonely, I did get homesick, and what helped for me was that part of working with the students at the Longhouse and the Student Association and student groups was that I had two tribal roommates. They were brothers. And so when we weren't in the library or weren't going to classes, we took time around here to go hunting, fishing. Often we were asked to do kind of cultural education and natural resource education types of demonstrations. So we'd go gather materials, whether it was traditional foods or basket material, and that kept me connected. It helped me understand also Oregon and its ecosystems and the tribes. Even when I was away from my community back in Northern California, I still had an extension of community and family here. I pretty much couldn't have completed my PhD had it not been for the various emotional, personal, and economic financial support offered through the various foundations and programs and departments here. And I think that understanding that I did have these ties to home and I wasn't going to be retained here as a student unless I maintained those connections to my family in place. And this academic community and the campus was very understanding and supportive of that.